Victor Frankenstein does not create a monster on the night his experiment succeeds. He creates something worse. A responsibility. And the second that responsibility opens its eyes, he runs from it. The harshness in Frankenstein is not found in the dead body parts, the lightning, or the laboratory. The real horror is quieter. A being enters the world, confused and alive, and the first thing he learns from his creator is rejection. So yes, Frankenstein might seem like a story about science going too far, or at least that is the simple version. This is the story we see on movie posters and Halloween costumes, with green skin, bolts in the neck, and a name that does not even belong to the creature. But the difference between this myth and Mary Shelley's novel is clear. Mary Shelley's novel, however, is sharper than the myth that grew around it. This is not really a story about a monster made by science, as many people think. It is a story about a being made deeply vulnerable by being created and turned into something scary by the pain of being left alone. Victor creates the creature's body, but rejection creates the monster. At first, the story is simple. Victor Frankenstein, a smart man from Geneva, becomes obsessed with the secrets of life. He studies death, decay, body parts, and chemistry. Finally, he puts a body together, brings it to life, and pulls back in horror when he should take responsibility. The creature opens his eyes. Victor flees. That is the whole tragedy in one movement. Not creation, then punishment, as some tales warn. Rather, creation, then abandonment. Creation, then abandonment. Creation, then abandonment. Victor wants the miracle without the responsibility. He wants the fire of Prometheus, but not the hard job of caring for anyone. The subtitle is important. The modern Prometheus. Prometheus steals fire from the gods, and Victor enters the domain of life. But Shelley makes the myth colder. Victor creates life, but refuses to stand by it. The British Library describes Shelley's idea as a scientist assembling a human life from lifeless body parts. A waking dream that raises questions about awareness and science today. That is true. But the novel's emotional depth comes from what happens after the dream succeeds. Victor is not destroyed because he knows too much. He is destroyed because he cares too little and too late. And maybe that distinction matters more now than ever. Many stories warn us not to cross boundaries. Do not play God. Do not awaken the dead. Do not build what you cannot control. Frankenstein says something more difficult. Do not create something you are not ready to take responsibility for. This is not against knowledge, but against avoiding responsibility. Victor's problem is not that he asks forbidden questions, but that he treats the answer as a mistake once it comes to life. And this is where the creature becomes one of the loneliest, most agonized figures in literature. He was not born with evil inside him. He was born without a place. Before of police, before the threatens, before the becomes the shadow chasing Victor across mountains and ice. He is confused. He is hungry. He is cold. He is scared. He decades with people only to face fear and rejection. First education is not love. It is disgusting. That matters because Shelley spends much of the story showing that the creature has feelings and thoughts. He learns by watching. He hides near the DeLacy home and observes them from outside, almost like a child looking through a window at a world he cannot join. He learns tenderness. He learns grief. He learns about poverty. He learns that people can suffer and still care for one another. He about social order. He hears about ownership, power, violence, and unfairness. After learning about human history, he is shocked by the contradiction in people. They can be noble, yet also covering the violence. Shelley takes the so-called monster, ask what of species humans really of. That is one of the novel's most uncomfortable reversals. The creature is treated as less than human, yet the you, often the one who tries your hardest. What he wants to be center.
He wants to be seen before he wants to be feared. There is a special, deep pain in that. It is not just the pain of not knowing love, but the pain of learning what love really is and realizing you will never have it. The creature watches happiness from the outside. He sees family love, but he cannot join. Language brings people closer, but his speech scares them. Human kindness exists, but his face destroys all good feelings. Oxford's note on the novel makes this clear. The book is not only a Promethean story of reckless scientific overreach, but also one of alienation, loneliness, and remorse. It also points to the creature's own explanation. I was benevolent and good, but misery made me a fiend. That line is dangerous if handled lazily. It does not mean suffering excuses. It means suffering leads to results, consequences. Shelley is not asking us to pretend the creature is innocent once he starts killing. He murders William. He frames Justine. He kills Henry Clerval. He kills Elizabeth. These are not symbolic crimes. They're acts of cruelty that destroy innocent people. Shelley also refuses to say he was always a monster. Because if you were always a monster, Victor would be simply unlucky. If he becomes one, Victor is implicated, and that is the novel's trap. It makes us see the creature's violence without forgetting the circumstances that shaped him. That is why Paradise Lost matters so much here. The creature reads Milton's poem and sees himself in two impossible figures, Adam and Satan. Adam, because he is the first of his kind. Satan, because he is cast out, resentful, exiled, and burning with comparison. But the creature's situation is crueler than Adam's. Adam is created and placed in a world prepared for him. He has a garden. He has a creator who speaks. He has a companion. He has a moral structure. The creature has none of that. He wakes into abandonment. He is Adam without Eden. And when he becomes satanic, it is not because he began with rebellion. It is because every path toward innocence was closed to him. The 1818 edition opens with an epigraph from Paradise Lost, Adam questioning his maker. Did I request thee, maker, from my clay, to mold me, man? That question is devastating, because it removes the sentimental fantasy of creation. The created being did not ask to exist. That is the creature's deepest claim against Victor. I did not ask to be made. You chose this. So what do you owe me? That question sits under the whole novel. What does a creator owe the created? Protection? Explanation? Companionship? A name? A place in the world? Explanation? Companionship? A name? A place in the world? Victor gives the creature none of these, not even a name. He calls him only a monster, demon, fiend, or wretch. The absence of a name is another refusal. A name would show a relationship and suggest that Victor sees someone, not just something. But Victor's language continually tries to push the creature out of moral reality, drawing a clear line between accepting someone and rejecting their humanity. If he is a demon, Victor does not have to parent him. If he is a fiend, Victor need not pity him. If he is a monster, Victor does not have to admit, I made him, and then I left. Here the book shifts from scientific ambition to avoidance. It becomes a story of science versus the refusal to take responsibility.
Victor's defining trait is not only ambition, it is a refusal. He refuses to care for the creature. He refuses to tell the truth when Justine is accused. He refuses to confess fully. He refuses to understand the creature's threat on his wedding night. He keeps interpreting events to preserve his self-image, even when it leads to others' deaths. There is something painfully recognizable in that. Not because most people are Victor Frankenstein in scale. Most of us are not secretly assembling life in a laboratory. But the pattern is familiar. A person creates harm, then narrates himself as its victim. A system produces suffering, then calls the suffering dangerous. A society excludes someone, then treats their rage as proof that exclusion was justified.
This is where your personal perspective becomes useful, without turning the analysis into autobiography. Our society is firmly rooted in the hatred of the other, and Frankenstein understands how that hatred works. It does not always begin with violence. Sometimes it begins with disgust, with flinching, with a refusal to recognize or an assumption that appearance defines essence, with the assumption that appearance reveals essence. The creature is hated instantly, judged before anyone sees his soul. People see him and decide who or what he is. That instant verdict becomes his prison. It is easy to say that Victor should have loved him. It is harder to sit with how often human beings fail at exactly this point, when another person's difference asks something moral from us before it gives us comfort. The creature is not lovable in any conventional way. This contrast between anticipation and reality is the point. That is the point. He does not arrive packaged for sympathy. He is frightening, he is strange. He overwhelms the senses. The moral test is not whether people can love what already pleases them. The test is not about loving what is easy, but about recognizing life before it becomes convenient. It is about the difference between sympathy and recognition. Victor fails that test first. Society fails its next. The creature eventually fails his own test too. That last part matters. A weaker version of this argument would make the creature a mere victim. Shelley does not do that. She gives him eloquence, pain, intelligence, and moral awareness. And then she lets him choose revenge. That is what makes him tragic, not simply sympathetic. He knows what goodness is. He has seen tenderness. He has even practiced it, secretly helping the de Lacys. So when he turns toward cruelty, it is not animal instinct. This is a moral collapse. His revenge is targeted with terrible precision. Victor destroyed his hope of fellowship, so the creature destroyed Victor's. Victor leaves him alone, so the creature empties Victor's life until he is alone too. William, Justine, Henry, Elizabeth, Victor's father. One by one, the world around Victor is stripped away. The creature does not simply kill people Victor loves. He teaches Victor the shape of his own abandonment. That is the ugliest symmetry in the novel. And still, revenge does not heal him. By the end, Victor dies consumed by hatred. The creature appears over his body, not in triumph, but in grief and self-disgust. He has won, if winning means making the other suffer. But the win gives him nothing. No home, no companion, no self-respect, no peace. That ending is important because it refuses the fantasy that rage can repair the wound that created it. Rage can answer pain. It cannot parent it. It cannot go back and stand beside the creature on the first night of his life. It cannot make Victor stay. This is where Blade Runner becomes a useful modern contrast. In Blade Runner, the replicants are not stitched together in a Gothic laboratory. They are bioengineered by a corporation. They are beautiful, efficient, powerful, and profitable. But the central question is painfully close to Shelley's. What happens when created beings confront the people who made them disposable? Roy Batty does not go to Tyrell only because he wants power. He wants more life. That phrase matters. More life. No more conquest, not more money, no more status. Life. Victor runs from his creation because he finds him ugly. Tyrell distances himself from his creations because they are products. Different worlds, same moral wound. creators who want the benefit of created life without the full burden of relation. That is why Frankenstein keeps returning. Every age finds a new laboratory. For Shelley, it was anatomy, galvanism, natural philosophy, the shock of scientific possibility. For Blade Runner, it is genetic engineering, corporations, artificial workers, and human-looking machines. For us, it may be AI, bioengineering, platforms, algorithms, synthetic intimacy, systems that produce consequences no one wants to claim. The question is not only, can we make it? The question is, once it exists, what kind of obligation begins? That is where the novel still has teeth. Because Victor's tragedy is not that he lacks genius. He lacks the moral stamina to remain present after genius succeeds. That may be the most precise warning in the book. Not, do not be brilliant. Not, do not discover. Not, do not build. But do not confuse creation with control. Do not mistake invention for wisdom. Do not bring something into the world and then act innocent when it asks you for care. The creature's body is frightening, but Victor's avoidance is more frightening because it is so ordinary. He is not a cartoon villain. He is weak in a way that causes damage. He is ashamed, so he hides. He hides, and because he hides, others die. That pattern is more frightening than a monster in the dark. It suggests that evil can begin as negligence, as cowardice, as the inability to face the living consequences of what we have done. And maybe that is why the creature's first moments matter so much. The eye opens, the body breathes, the created being looks toward the creator, and the creator recoils. In that gaze, the whole future commences. The creature has not yet killed anyone. He has not demanded anything. He has not become the thing Victor fears. But Victor sees him as monstrous, and that perception becomes a kind of prophecy. This is where the work reveals itself. The monster is not simply a body. The monster is a relationship between the creator and the created, between society and the outsider, between disgust and violence, between the thing we make and the care we refuse to give it. So when people ask, who is the real monster? The answer should not be too neat. The creature is guilty. Victor is guilty. The world around them is guilty. But guilt does not begin evenly. The first power belongs to Victor. He creates life. He abandons it. And then he spends the rest of the novel horrified by the consequences of abandonment. That is the cruel intelligence of Frankenstein. It does not let us hide inside easy categories. It does not say the wounded are innocent forever. It does not say creators are evil simply because they create. It asks for something more demanding, responsibility after power. The creature's question still stands. Why was I made if I was never meant to be loved? And Victor never finds an answer worthy of the life he created. Perhaps the continuing horror of Frankenstein is not that a man made a monster. It is that a man made a being, looked at him, and decided he owed him nothing. And sometimes the monster is not what we make. Sometimes the monster is what we refuse to love after we have made it.